Hey, Flosstube, Anna, back with another stitching update. For those of you who've been paying attention, I renamed my channel, and that is totally going to throw out the whole intro habits, because now I don't need to say that whole AKA Moranalist thing, because it's not relevant. It's not the channel name. For those of you who haven't been around before, it's Mapping Stitcher, simply because mapping is the day job. Although recently I haven't been doing a whole lot of mapping and more just plain software development. But we're not here for work, we're here for stitching. Today I have a couple of updates, a finish, a new start, and a bit of haul actually coming from 123Stitch. So a bit of everything today. Let's start with the new start because that's what's here right in front of me. This is a very adventurous choice in fabric color. I was debating the whole a nice safe gray. Hold on, let me get the floss for this. So to back up 6 steps so this makes more sense. Those of you who watched the last video would have seen I had a hank of Silks for You to do pandemic with. The fabric arrived. I've got a 36 count linen because I only have one hank. It needs to be done 36 with one strand. So that arrived, but the $1 million question was what color to do the fabric. Obviously gray is a very safe choice, or we could do something more adventurous. And on a whim, we went adventurous. And it's all the middle child's fault. She's over there where I can tease her. Anyway, I will forewarn you, this is one of those colors that I guarantee you it's not going to look any good in the camera, but it is actually not that bad in real life. It's a bit more vibrant than I was expecting, but it's not as bad as it might look in the camera. Let's see what we can get. So this is Pandemic, and yep, there it goes all orangey. It's actually a coral color. Let's see if we can get it with the white. All right, I did get some photos. Okay. I did get some photos where it half looked all right, so I will insert a photo because I can tell we're gonna have this issue with every time I try and show you this piece. It's one of those colors the camera just does not like. So disregard the coloring, but I've made a start on Pandemic. So we have, I don't know, a couple hundred stitches in there. That's in the middle. It actually might be upside down. I think it goes that way. Well, that wasn't too bad for the coloring. Anyway, the stitching looks darker in this than it actually is in real life. Let's see if I can get a picture. So that was a new start, partly because I'm going to be going over to the States, and that means an ungodly long amount of time on an airplane, bored out of your brain, and I thought being all one color and everything, it might be a good option to take on the plane and stitch, and just a little easier than some of the other stuff I have floating around. The main focus for the last month has actually been on a piece, I think last time in my whip parade may have been the only time you saw it, and it's now finished. But it was this Etsy piece for, my daughter gave me that for Mother's Day, I think, one year. Anyway, once I put it in Pattern Keeper, it was a whole lot easier to work on. And so I just blitzed through and finished it up. And I don't know, I reckon those spiders are pretty cool. For the most part, it's all as charted. I did add a bit of back stitching on that ghost because he was blending into the white too badly. Once I started back stitching the ghost, I'm like, well, those clouds blend, and then I was thinking, well, maybe the face needs back stitching, and then I thought, no, we're just going to do the ghost and be done. So that is a finish, and I will have to fully finish it for Halloween so it can go on display. But that's another project for another day. I have been trying to keep up with about 100 stitches a day on the big map. Working on that Halloween piece definitely killed my whole 100 stitches a day on the big world map. This is, I think it's just called world map. I don't know. It's ZAnnaCrossStitch. I'll put the link below. Off of Etsy, and I've gotten another page finished, but I think my estimated completion time is blown out again to end of 2035. So I obviously need to go back and do more dedicated effort on this because it's falling behind. As a random quirk, I think I have stitched over the area where I would have grown up, which I can't actually see it in the camera. There's a slash of blue there. It doesn't show very well in camera, but that's sort of a slash of blue. I'm taking it's Great Lakes would be the area where I grew up, but it's really distorted picture with all the arches and columns and everything over it. It's kind of hard to tell where you actually are, but I debated whether I'd put, you know, just a gold stitch or something in there but we shall see. I mostly want to look and see whether the part of Australia where I currently live is also visible on the map. I'm not even sure. I have started the next page. I don't think there's much of any substantial interest in this page either. We have more columns and yeah, a lot more light colors. So we're just going to try and finish that up. That actually is the left to right. That's where I left off on the top row. So we'll basically finish up this square and then we'll move back to the left hand side and do more rows underneath. That's the plan. That is a 25 count, I think. Just a plain even weave, doing it 2 over 1 half cross because it's enough stitches as it is. We don't need to do full cross and double the amount of work. The other thing, the last thing I've been trying to work on is Bellatrix. I'm getting a bit concerned over the number of projects that are coming up requiring beading. So I thought we'd better quit stalling. Where is that needle? There it is. Better quit stalling and keep working on beading Bellatrix. So I'll give you a close-up first of where I've been working. I think I had all of this cluster of beads in there finished, but I finished along in her skirt. I've done all of this cluster. I just finished that hanging bit today. I've got all of them hanging off her shawl here, and then the book stand is all complete. So basically at this point, I'm trying to work up this side. There's a bunch more in her shawl, and of course there's acres in her dress. This will be done on a 28 count cast shell that I dyed myself. Pretty sure she's getting on to be about a year's worth of effort into her. I know it was April when I started her last year, so it would be good before we get to that 1 year anniversary to get her finished. Which I think if I quit dawdling and actually do some of the beading, I can probably manage that. We shall see. As far as goodies, I got a few things, and in fact the first thing I'll have to put a picture in. I got somebody on Instagram. I don't know whether I mentioned it on Instagram or on one of my videos, but I'd run into an issue with Tinctorium where I'd run out of one of the threads in the border, and I bought an extra skein of this thread, and this other lady had exactly the same problem. Gotten 3 sides of the border done and then had no thread to finish it, but she couldn't get another skein to replace it with. So I ended up sending her the skein that I had. As it turns out, I found an extra bit of thread on the ground and hadn't even opened that new skein. So it worked out well, but as a thank you, she sent me a gift certificate for Etsy. So I bought another set of the Satsuma Street ornaments with the gift certificate. And then of course, since I was there, might as well buy 2 sets. So I'll put images into those because the PDFs, I don't actually have anything to show you. So those will go in the stash with the other Halloween ornaments to be stitched up. 1, 2, 3 stitch order did include some very fancy plastic canvas to put some of those new ornaments on. The other things that came in that 1, 2, 3 stitch order with the pandemic fabric was a new Bella Fillipina, because we can never have too many of those. Given that I have to start another mermaid before too long, I'm not sure when I will start this one, but eventually. Oh, she's coming to raid, see which one I got. Then I also grabbed a couple more Mill Hills. And apparently I had sort of a split personality. We have this one from the Christmas Village. And then we had a couple from the Halloween series. So Spooky Gate and some trick-or-treaters. Apologies for the plastic. So I think I've said before when I've showed these other Mill Hills, the plan for these, I won't do them on the perforated paper. I've got a set of nice wooden boxes that fit this size perfectly. So I'll do these on fabric, mount them on a bit of foam core, and decorate up those boxes. And then those boxes will be like seasonal frames. I can put the Christmas ones in, or I can put the Halloween ones in. And every time I've been doing an order from 1, 2, 3 stitch, I just add a couple more of the Mill Hills off my list. Although with Christmas and Halloween, I'm probably going to have to come up with some other more generic sort of Mill Hill sized. Doesn't necessarily have to be Mill Hill, but that size of thing that I can put up for some of the other of the year. Otherwise, we've only got 2 months represented. So that's about it for me. Short and sweet, but I wanted to nick in here and get this done because I knew if I didn't do it today, it wasn't going to happen until I got back from the States, and I'll have long since forgot anything I've done. So I will see you guys all next time. Cheers.